A trend has continued to shape the landscape of Parliament. Cars permanently parked within the precincts with dust settling on them, creating curiosity on why a member of Parliament, one of the best paid in the country, would abandon his vehicle at Parliament instead of taking it home. Like the saying goes, if you see a toad running in broad daylight, you know something is after its life.
Most members are heavily indebted. That's why that house is always what? Empty. Now, because they are heavily indebted, they always look for, we have to be frank and tell the public what's happening. They look for workshops where they go to get 50,000, 100,000. They go to committees, signs here, go signs there, because he wants that allowance. You understand? Badly.
Most members of Parliament are very poor. The President recently said that they have been bothering him.
The constituents continue to hold their representatives in high esteem, continuously calling them honorable, expecting handouts, school fees, and funeral contributions, but not aware of the financial bareness most members of Parliament are in. Basing on the different backgrounds legislators come from, many have fallen victims to money sharks who are aware of their large appetite for quick money.
By 6 o'clock, the parking is full. The members have to come in early to park so that they can go after midnight home and early to avoid the Shyrocks.
One would wonder why concerns would emerge over a legislator's financial business, but experience has shown that most of the desperate legislators across the political divide resort to desperate means of making ends meet. Some have been rendered fugitives, running away from their homes in the wee hours and leaving late to evade the moneylenders. Stories have been told of MPs whose millions in salaries end up being deducted at the end of the month, leaving some with miserable sums. Amidst these challenges, they carry on with their duty, but the question is, how independent and critical can such a person be? The country many times has roared in disgust when certain unpopular bills sail through, wondering how a parliament can act that way. What has escaped the attention of many is that the legislators, in disregard to the hard times, have without shame signed millions of shillings to vote in particular way. During the lifting of the presidential term limits, each MP got 5 million shillings to amend the constitution. The 9th Parliament awarded 103 million shillings to each MP. Their salaries and allowances raised. A proposed 2.5 million on iPads for each of the 378 legislators. And the President has over the years become an expert on parliamentary behavior. When things get hard, he changes to the language that most of them can't resist, the money language. But all this summed up, it amounts to a significant figure in billions that can save millions of lives and equip health centers to meet the health demand or even work on roads.
This is what Andrew Mwenda sees, and he told us. He says, I saw MPs clearly looking like vultures around an animal carcass, and he named names. They're scavengers looking for food.
Aware that most business of Parliament is carried out in committees, a critical question arises on the ability of financially wrecked legislators to bring errant, filthy rich bureaucrats suspected of swindling billions to account. As many suspects continue to slip away, allegations have emerged that suspects usually allegedly create caucuses in the committees to safeguard their interests.
Borrow money to drive a good car, borrow money to eat, borrow money to try to sort out your constituency issues, trying to think about 2016 in 2011 or 2010 or rather 2012. That's where the problem is.
Not choosers. So sometimes people come out against the president, but only when they are looking for his attention, to throw some food at them so that they can shut up.
The opposition bench in the ideal is supposed to check government excesses, but instead some have excelled in cutting deals with individuals in government.
I am told even some in the opposition have gone to him and told him that we're bad off. I see you people who write in the papers. If it is true, then the country is finished.
Boniface Byanyima was quoted in the press in March of 2010 saying that the parliament is a board of Bayaye which Museveni can use any way he wants to use it.
Probably this explains why critical sectors remain limping. A huge percentage of the national cake goes to servicing the selfish interests of members of parliament. A critical question stands: is our parliament worth the money, trust and expectations from the countryside? Your guess is as good as mine. Many a times after elections, constituents forget about what their members of parliament do in the house, and yet under representative democracy, they are supposed to represent their views based on principled backgrounds. Sabiti Joseph, the Best Television.